Today, on the Vince Everett Ellison Show, we're going to talk about Kamala Harris and how she led a coup on Joe Biden. We're going to also talk about how my prophecy has come true about the Democrats and them spawning this racial unrest here in America. Yeah, we're going to talk about that today on the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, let's get this thing started. You know, they say one of the greatest shows in the history of television is The Wire on HBO. I watched it from beginning to ending. It's really, really mesmerizing. It talks about Baltimore and it talks about all the drugs and all the police corruption and everything in Baltimore. It really tells you how terrible the inner city is in the United States of America. In The Wire, they have these two drug dealers. One is a big old fat guy named Prop Joe. Prop Joe's old school, old-time drug dealer doing his thing. And this young guy by the name of Marlo Stansfield comes in. Marlo's hood. He's Machiavellian. Prop Joe figures that he's going to use Marlo to get what he wants. So he shows Marlo how he does what he does. He shows how he launders money, gets him his connect, his drug connect, shows him how he launders money through the black church. Yeah, that's what The Wire shows. They launder their money through the black church, black preacher. And after Marlo learns everything from Prop Joe, him and Prop Joe sitting there talking one day, and two of Marlo's men step behind Prop Joe and pull their guns out. Prop Joe's an intelligent man. He knows what's going on, but he never thought that Marlo would betray him. Prop Joe looks at Marlo. He said, Marlo, I treated you like a son.
But I treated you like a son.
Marlo said, wasn't meant to be the son, Joe.
I wasn't made to play the son.
Close your eyes, Joe.
Close your eyes.
Shot him in the head. Killed him dead. I bring that up because I believe that that's exactly what Kamala Harris did to Joe Biden. Joe told us that Kamala treats you like a daughter. Kamala said, wasn't meant to be the daughter, Joe. Close your eyes. What you guys witnessed this past week was a coup d'etat. But before we get into that, I want to take y'all back to last week. I told you what them low-down, dirty, low-down, sniveling, coward, pervert, man, what they was going to do. I told you that when they missed Trump, when they didn't kill him, the next move was going to be racial unrest here in the United States of America. Yeah, I told you. I know some of y'all sat back, got mad at me. Some people started sending little nasty letters to me. Vince, you don't know what you're talking about, da. But I got it on film. Y'all can go on YouTube right now. You can hear me say it. The next move, racial unrest. So I'm in Washington, D.C. at the Young Americans Foundation's summer conference. And yes, and had a great time there with YAF. They're a great organization. They're great people. I love them. They had children from all over the place now. They're from Ireland, from Italy, from all over the country. So it was a great conference. I got a chance to meet many, many great people. Glad to have been there. But I'm sitting there in my hotel room, getting ready to go make my speech in the morning, drinking my coffee. Turned on the TV, and there I see Ben Crump. And the first thing I said, oh, man. Well, the first thing I said, man, ain't he ugly? And then I stopped. I said, oh, no. If Ben Crump on TV, it's got to be something real bad going on. There's going to be some race hatred and some race baiting and ambulance chasing going on. So I said, what's this about? And lo and behold, I looked and I saw this young lady by the name of Sonia Massey. It was a tragic situation. Nobody's justifying this situation at all, what happened to that poor lady. From what we saw on the news, it looks like that She picked up some hot water. The police officer told her to put it down, and she didn't put it down fast enough, and he shot her in the face. Tragedy. They had a father, had a family, had everybody on the news, and they want justice, which they are supposed to have. I believe that the police officer, his name is what is this guy's name? I don't even want to call his name. His name is Sean Grayson. He's arrested. He's in jail right now at the Maynard County Jail. He's been held without bond. And he's looking at 45 years to life for murder. Here's the problem. Immediately, Ben Crump said that this case was basically an example of the racism that still exists in the United States of America. That's what I'm talking about. It is not. This case is an example of a sick police officer that did something to an innocent person. It has nothing to do with the other white people here in this country or the other black people here in this country. It has to do with that situation and that situation alone. But what they're going to do, they're going to try to take it and they're going to try to gin up hatred, gin up race hatred, pull up the Civil War, pull up slavery, pull up Jim Crow, all of it. And say America, same way it was in 1863. Well, if it was the Democratic Party that was in charge during that time doing that stuff to black people. And when you go to these cities, these inner cities, yeah, Democrats control them too. If you want to start talking about, let's talk about the whole story. Whenever this happens, wherever this happens, you're going to find that Democrats are in charge. Whether it's George Floyd in Minneapolis, whether it's this young lady here, Miss Sonia Massey in Chicago. Yeah. Whether it's up in New York City, where Eric Garner, they're always in charge. Because they're going to always be, wherever they are going to make sure there's race hatred. There's a crazy suspicion between black people and the cops, and they're going to gin it up. This is what they want. So look at that common denominator before you start casting stones. Why is it that everywhere this happens, and the police departments now understand, are not controlled by the federal government. They're not controlled by the states. The police departments are controlled by the cities, by the city councils, by all of that. It's not controlled by the federal government. It's not controlled by state governments. It's controlled by these Democrats that run these cities. And these police are being hired now because of this defund the police situation and the hatred they've had for cops. A lot of police officers have just said, I'm through, I'm done. And a lot of the good cops have gone. And they have to now fill these slots with a lot of police officers that should not be officers now. But who else is going to take the job? I think this guy had like maybe 2 DUIs and had gone from about 4 police departments within the last 3-4 years. He shouldn't have been no cop. Who else is going to do the job? When the Democrats who run these cities also tell people to hate the police officers that they hire. Nobody wants to deal with that type of abuse. So now look what we're getting. I hope it stops. I hope we never see an incident like this again. But the Democrats are so cruel and they're so unjust that if they don't come about organically, they will manufacture them. Because they need the hatred. God, boy, these people are terrible. So we want to pray for the family of Miss Sonia Massey. And we hope that we can create a society where these things never happen again. But if that is what we want, I will tell you in my heart that the only way it's going to happen is that we have to take power from the Democratic Party. They are the party that's been doing this ever since their inception in 1800. As I said before, they've been the party of slavery from 1800 to 1860, the party of the Confederacy from 1860 to 1865, the party of Jim Crow from 1865 to 1965. Murder, castrations, you name it, they did it. And now they're the party of abortion up to the 9th month, party of LGBTQ, party of castrating little boys and calling them little girls, the party of taking God out of the public square, the party of disarming law-abiding citizens in war zones, the party of open borders, the party of war and mayhem all over this nation. All of these inner cities, where all this mess is happening, is controlled by them. That's your common denominator. This evil institution. Now let's expand on this. As I was talking about The Wire and what Marlowe did to Prop Joe, I want to take y'all back in a little bit of time, maybe about a week ago. Never in the history of the United States of America, I don't think of any country, have we ever seen what we just seen. I mean, I've seen some messed up stuff in my time. I have seen some messed up stuff in my time. Man, I worked in the penitentiary, like I said before. I've seen jokers get murdered. I've seen drug overdoses. I've seen stabbings. I've seen jokers get their heads cracked with baseball bats. I've seen riots. But I've never seen anything close to what I've seen in the past 10 days. First, they tried to kill Donald Trump. Missed him by that much. Said a little nerd went and bought a gun and had a ladder on his back, walked through the Secret Service, the most preeminent security force in the history of the world. Jokers got satellites, drones, tech, you name it. We don't even know how much money these guys are allotted every year. He just walked right up to him, got up on a ladder, climbed up to the top of a building, pointed a gun at Donald Trump. If Donald Trump had turned his head, he'd be dead today. Now, a question for y'all. And I want you to answer it. And I want you to be truthful. If Donald Trump had got killed on that Saturday, do you think that Joe Biden would have stepped down from the presidency? You think he would have given up on his campaign? Or do you think he'd stayed in? Y'all all know the answer to that question. Zerja Joe would still be running for president if Trump was dead. We all know it. Joe Biden ain't stepping down because he got dementia. Joe Biden stepping down because the country found out he had dementia. And then they missed their opportunity to take out his competition. You are not going to convince me that the Secret Service didn't know that boy was up on that roof. How do I know the Secret Service knew the boy was on the roof? They told him. Everybody was pointing at the boy for 2 minutes. They had him in the sights. Put the gun pointed at Trump. And he waited till he shot at him 3-4 times before they shot him and killed him. I mean, you can be incompetent, but you ain't that freaking incompetent. Man got a gun pointed at somebody I care about, and I see him standing there with the gun pointed at him. I got a gun pointed at him, but I won't let him shoot at him 4 or 5 times before I finally shoot him. And then I said, well, I didn't see him. I didn't know he was there. There was a miscommunication. A miscommunication? He was shooting the gun at him. And you was pointing the gun at him. Come on, y'all. So they missed Trump. Joe Biden sinks in the polls like a rock. Joe Biden said, I ain't going nowhere. I don't care what y'all do. God comes down, and God got to come down and tell me not to run. I'm running. Day of, I'm running. Joe running. Joe said, I'm setting up. I'm going to be out on the campaign trail next week. I'm running. Shoot. Somebody walked up in the Oval Office or wherever Joe was, held up. And they did Godfather Part 1 on Joe Biden. They did like Luga Brodsky. They said, Joe, they put the letter in front of Joe and said, Joe, either your signature or your brains are going to be on that letter. You choose. Next thing you know, Joe said, no mas, I quit. And then they want you to believe it. So the whole week I'm watching this, right? I'm watching all this stuff take place. I'm texting back and forth to people. I know there's a Game of Thrones going on behind the scenes because every day on MSNBC and CNN, they just, what balls to the wall. Joe Biden got to go. Joe Biden got to go. If he love the country, Joe Biden got to go. Joe Biden got to go. Joe Biden said, I ain't going nowhere. Joe Biden got to go. I ain't going nowhere. So finally I heard this commentator on CNN say that the bundlers, and a bundler is a person that raises about $1 million for you, that the bundlers had started calling the Democrat senators and the Democrat congressmen, telling them that if they did not come out and deep six Joe Biden on television, take their support away from him, they were going to stop giving them money. That's when I called my brother and said, okay, man, this thing's over with now because they now going to start telling the congressman they're going to take that money. Who was orchestrating that? Who was orchestrating it? I'll tell you who was orchestrating it. The person that benefited from it. For all you Godfather aficionados, remember what was going on when they was having the war and they thought it was the Tartarians against the Corleones, and they finally made peace, and the Corleones and the Tartarians hugged around the table. They decided how to cut the drug sales up in the city. And then Tom asked Vito Corleone, he said, should I demand that all of these drug middlemen not have prison records? Vito said, mention it, don't demand it. Tartaria's a man that would know that. Now, Barzini is a man that would know that without being told. And Tom said, you mean Tatalia? Vito said, no. Tatalia's a pimp. He never could have outfought Santino. But I didn't know until tonight it was Barzini all along. Why? Because he saw that Barzini controlled the meeting. Barzini was the one that benefited the most from it. You always see who benefited. Who benefited from Joe Biden stepping down? Kamala Harris. Don't y'all sleep on Kamala Harris. The girl got moves. She was using them when she was in California. She was Willie Brown's side piece, hanging out with Montel Williams. She didn't get married until she was 50. Word out on the street that she was doing whatever she had to do to move to the top. I mean, Willie Brown will tell you. Willie Brown was married, walking around with Kamala Harris on his arm. She got her chest all out, and he got her started in San Francisco politics. Yeah, he'll tell you all about it. If you really want to hear about it, you need to listen to Judge Joe Brown. Woo! Joe Brown will really tell you about it. But then she becomes Attorney General of the state, and she gets married to this guy by the name of Doug Emhoff. Doug is white and he's Jewish. Got no problem with that. You know, we got no problem with that in America. You can do that if you want to. But some guys from California told me that the reason why she married Doug Emhoff is because she had locked up so many black men in California, she couldn't find no black man to marry. That's what they tell me. She was scared that if she married a black man, she'd end up locking him up because I think she had made some type of deal with the devil that if he got her Attorney General of California, she was going to lock up every black man she could find. So if she married a black man, she had to lock him up, so she had to marry Doug Emhoff. They told me she didn't have no children because her children would be black, and she probably had to lock them up too. That's what I was told. I don't live in California. All I know is that when Kamala Harris was Attorney General of California, I wouldn't go to California because I was scared she's going to lock me up. She never saw a black man she didn't want to lock up. Now, that's what I was told. She was in California smoking blunts. And then she told Charlemagne the God that she was smoking blunts. And then Tulsi Gabbard grabbed her when they had the debate and told her, you smoking blunts, you locking up black men in California doing the same thing. She hid the evidence, had jokers staying in jail longer than they're supposed to be. She hid the evidence when it came to this guy on death row, almost got him killed. Yeah, man. Kamala Harris let every illegal in the world come to California. Wouldn't put them in jail. Oh, y'all gonna find out some things about Kamala. And then she decides she's gonna run for president. Kamala was such a bad candidate. She didn't get to the Iowa caucuses. She dropped out. Y'all need to go online and see what Tulsi Gabbard, when she just tore up. It was like, if it hadn't been a championship fight, they'd have stopped it. Whooped her so bad that she said, all right, man, I'm out of here. I can't come back from this. But Kamala had a plan. So Joe Biden got old no good Jim Clyburn. And you talking about sorry SOB. Jim Clyburn, boy, I tell you what. If there is a hell, he gonna burn in it. If he don't repent. I mean, that is, I'm riding with Biden. I'm riding with Biden. I'm riding with Biden. And then the first chance he got, he stabbed him in the back too. Just like he's been stabbing black folks in the back his whole career. It's all about him. So Kamala drops out the race. Jim Clyburn helps Joe Biden win South Carolina. Joe Biden sliding the victory. Well, Kamala had a plan. And since the George Floyd stuff was all going on, a lot of black Democrats, the Iron Triangle was feeling itself. And they saw an opportunity because Joe Biden was weak and he had dementia and everybody knew it. He was already losing his mind then. He wanted to be president so bad he'd do anything. So Kamala got smart. She went to a group of black men, 100 black men, told them to write Joe Biden a letter, telling Joe Biden that if they did not put a black woman on his ticket as VP, they was going to deep six his whole campaign and destroy it. So, Ben Crump, P. Diddy, Akon, a bunch of thugs and rappers, and greasy preachers signed this letter, sent to Joe Biden, scared Joe to death. And the only person he could put on his ticket was Kamala, because Kamala was the only black female senator. And he reluctantly gave it to Kamala Harris. And then Kamala Harris set her plan in action to move Joe out of that spot. Y'all, I'm going to tell you something. I know Kamala Harris couldn't have planned this. She ain't got that kind of sense. There's somebody else behind the scenes working all of this out. Because this was masterfully done. I mean, masterfully done. Joe Biden still don't know what hit him. I saw him on TV the other night in the Oval Office. Looked like he was dead. Couldn't hardly talk. But I must say, it couldn't have been done to a nicer guy. This guy started the war in Ukraine. He and Kamala, the guys started the war, gave the money to Iran to fund Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthi rebels that are shooting up stuff in the Red Sea. Yeah, he's the one that gave them the money to do it. He's the one that left out of Afghanistan, allowed them to have their country back and shooting these women who won't wear burqas and won't let them go to school and killing all the folks that helped us during the war. And you saw that plane was leaving, all those people hanging off that dadgum plane. They blew up 13 of our great soldiers and service people before they left. And he did nothing to retaliate. Inflation went sky high. Interest rates on houses, sky high. He's fighting for 9-month abortion, fairly paid for. And now he's going to let schools transition children, let parents cut off the private parts of little boys and little girls. Not giving these children any type of protection. And I know what y'all saying out there. Well, I thought you said that parents are supposed to have all control of their children. I never said that. We know what abuse is. And nobody here in America, unless you crazy, support child abuse. So it's amazing to me that you got a Democrat Party that will put you in jail if you spank your son, but will give you the money and protect you if you want to castrate him. They'll put you in jail if you give your daughter a little spanking, but they'll let you cut her breasts off and give her puberty blockers so she'll never have children. Isn't that just a little bit insane to you? That giving your child just a little slap on the leg because he cussed you out. You can't do that. But you can go to Joe Biden and say, look, Joe Biden, I want to go in and I want to cut off his private parts. I want to cut off all of it. Throw it in the garbage can. When you want to do that? And we'll pay for it, whatever it might cost. God, these people are evil, man. You know what? Boy, I tell you what, you better be glad I got Jesus in my life. Y'all better hope I don't ever start believing in Jesus Christ. I'll just start doing drive-bys on these people, man. Woo! Steady my hand, Lord. Pray for me. What is evil? You've heard me say it before. I'll make it easy for you. Evil is anyone that would intentionally harm a child. Jesus said anybody that would harm one of these little ones is better than a millstone be tied around their necks and they be thrown into the sea. Well, I hope Joe Biden can swim. And I hope Kamala Harris can swim because the millstone's ready for him. Oh, Kamala Harris really want abortion. I mean, she run on abortion. She was the first presidential or vice presidential candidate to ever visit an abortion clinic. Brought the cameras with her. Kamala said, I don't want to hear about the babies being dead. I want to see the babies being dead. And then brought the cameras with her so we can see her seeing the babies being dead. She probably went back there and probably helped abort one, kill one. Let me help you tear it apart. God, man, these people are sick. But my friends, what you guys saw, it ain't nothing new. Oh, no. These totalitarians, and these communists, and these Democrats, they know how to play the game. When did the Democratic Party change? I'll tell you when it changed. November 22nd, 1963, when they shot JFK. LBJ took over the party, became a socialist institution. It's been one ever since. JFK wasn't a socialist. You go look at the Democratic Party before about 1965. Oh, it changed. And they did it through assassination. When you look at just recently in our history of the world, when that dude for the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Proznikov, when he said he was going to take the Wagners and march into Moscow, take down Putin, Putin made a deal with him, chilled him out. About 6 weeks later, I saw his plane falling from the sky. Boom! And Vladimir just kind of smiled. You don't think that was a hit? Alexei Navalny decided he was going to go to a gunfight with a knife, started messing with Vladimir Putin. Yeah, they had his funeral about 2-3 months ago. These people don't play. Look at what happened to Donald Trump. You think, yeah, okay, you can think that was an accident if you want to. And Joe Biden missed. And now he said, it's time for you to go. And Joe Biden bucked a little bit. He tried to, they said, be still. Take your medicine like a man. And Kamala sat in the corner grinning. Somebody with her helped set this whole thing up. But this is what, and this is how they miscalculated. They miscalculated the common sense and the wisdom of the American people. Now, some of y'all gonna see this and y'all gonna say, yeah, it probably happened that way, but I hate Donald Trump and I hate conservatism and I hate God so much that I'm still gonna vote for her, because anything that'll take out these Christians, anything that'll take out Jesus Christ, anything that'll take out the Bible, anything that'll take out freedom, anything that'll take out the United States of America, I am willing to endorse and support. I know. Better be careful with that. Because when these people start killing, they don't stop. You better read your history of the French Revolution. When these guys cut off the head of the King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, and how they just kept killing and kept killing and kept killing and kept killing till they finally got the one that started the whole thing, Robespierre. They ended up cutting his head off at the end. It doesn't stop. So what's my point here? My point here is everybody under my voice, you better realize that the Democratic Party is what I've always said it was, an evil institution. If you don't see it now, you will never see it. Tried to take out Trump, took out Joe Biden. Put another idiot in the seat that they can control. All because they need the United States of America to be on the side of leftists, atheists, and liberals to spread this climate change, LGBTQ, hatred, socialism thing all around the world. It's here. It's being exported from here. It's not being exported from the Soviet Union or from China. It's been exported from, atheism is being exported from America. Crazy liberals talking about climate change. That means they say they can control the weather. They're trying to get you to buy that they can control the weather. And some people are actually buying that these idiots can control the weather. This abortion thing where they talked about depopulation. Yeah, the whole climate change concept, depopulating the human species in the world, is part of that. Kamala Harris is all into depopulation. That's why she didn't have any children herself. She believes in aborting every baby she can find because they believe that human beings are cancer. We're a virus. They won't take us out. Ain't that crazy? That we are installing a government whose one of their main objectives is to destroy the people that elected them. Yeah, look up the depopulation movement. You'll be amazed. All of this. And somehow or another, we still have sane Christian people who say they're going to vote for this party. Let me correct that. We have people that say they're sane and say that they're Christian who are going to vote for such an evil institution. People that in the cold light of day have shown you in less than 1 week they're willing to kill, and they're willing to take a president. And I'm going to tell you what now, the President of the United States of America is the most powerful man in the world. And somehow or another, somebody walked up into the most powerful man in the world's office and told him, it's time for you to step down. And he complied. Ladies and gentlemen, if that doesn't give you shivers down your spine, as I told you before, there's nobody. The people that are ruling this country right now have not been elected. And they're on the Democrat Party side. You just witnessed what happened to Julius Caesar when he was stabbed in the Senate. And he went up to his best friend Brutus, and Brutus stabbed him. He was going to Brutus to be protected. And Brutus laid a dagger at him and took his life. His best friend. And Jesus said, "Et tu, Brute?" Then falls Caesar. They say he died more of a broken heart than he did from anything else when he saw his best friend stabbed him. You just witnessed what Judas did to Jesus Christ. When Jesus was sitting there, and Judas walked up to him and kissed him on the cheek when he brought all the Roman, the guards from the temple to come and arrest him. And Jesus said, "You betrayed the Son of Man with a kiss, Judas?" Yeah, you just saw what Benedict Arnold did to George Washington when he had gotten with the British and was planning to give the keys of West Point to the British. They would have given them the key to New York and to New England. They would have destroyed America in the American Revolution. You saw betrayal. I plead with you to not honor this. Don't give this any bounty. Don't allow these people to get away with this. Don't let them believe that you are this stupid and you are this corrupt. I wouldn't do this podcast if I didn't think that people could be persuaded with the truth. I wouldn't waste my time with it. I still believe the United States of America is the greatest country in the world. I believe that our principles and our laws were based upon a Christian concept and a belief in God. We have unalienable rights, and these rights come from God. These rights are irrevocable, non-transferable, and unsellable. Government cannot touch them. And the Democratic Party says that's bullcrap. They say God doesn't exist. They say gender doesn't exist. They say that they can kill children up to the 9th month. They tell you what the definition of life is, the definition of a man and a woman. They can change the weather. They can control your freedom. It is time for us again to stand up as Americans and say, no more. You see what's going on. Time to put a stop to this. This is not funny. This is dangerous. So my friends, look out for the racial unrest that's coming in the future. Take no part in it. But beware of this one thing as we go forward. Beware of Kamala Harris and the evil Democratic Party. And understand that if you're voting for this party, you're sending your soul to hell. So go to my website, VinceSpeaksTruth.com. On this website, you'll find many of my wares. You're going to find my great documentary, Will You Go to Hell for Me? It talks about these evil Democrats. Man, I'm going to tell you, I had them pegged. These bunch of perverts, liars, psychopaths, ne'er-do-well, malcontents. And God almighty. I thought that they would do some dirty stuff. To try to assassinate a president and then want to coup on one all in the same week. That's a new low even for them. Then my book, The Iron Triangle. Best way to avoid a trap is to recognize the trap. When you see these black preachers, black politicians, and black civil rights groups coming together and start telling you that there's racism in America, you need to understand they all lying. That's what they're good at. Lying. Race hatred. Hell raising. Burning up stuff. No justice, no peace. That's them. The Iron Triangle. They work for the rich white liberals in the Democratic Party, and their job is to keep black people poor, afraid, uneducated, and voting for the Democratic Party. And they do a very good job at it. Then it's 25 Lies. 25 Lies is a handbook. I could have named it 25 Million Lies with the Democratic Party. But you guys saw some of their lies this week, just as a few of them. They're going to lie every day until this election come up. 25 Lies will help you defend yourself against them, help you see them coming. It's like seeing punches and being able to bob and weave and stay away from them. This is what 25 Lies does for you. And then there's Crime 8. Well, heck, we saw some crimes this week, didn't we? We saw assassination attempts. We saw coups. We saw lies. We saw cover-ups. Oh, they all up there lying. Joe Biden's going to run. Joe Biden's going to run. Ain't nothing wrong with Joe Biden. Joe Biden is okay. Joe Biden was crazy as hell. And everybody. And they was trying to get him out and destroy it while they was up there talking about how great he was. Yeah, they're a crime family, y'all. And they are masters at the game. People, let me tell you something. After what you've seen over the past 2 weeks, the Democratic Party has to believe y'all the biggest fools in the world. They have to believe that you are really, really asleep. But if you are asleep, I'm here to wake you up. Hope I did you some good today. My name is Vince Everett Ellison. So join me again next week for the Vince Everett Ellison Show.